Tell me the estimates that you've seen.
I don't have those numbers right on hand.
So you're advocating that we become carbon neutral, but you don't know how much it's going to cost?
So there's an awful lot of estimates out there. It
Yeah,
depends
but
on technology
you're the
improvement and other
deputy
kinds of
secretary.
things.
You're the expert.
I
Give me
know
an
with
estimate of how much
certain-
it's going to cost.
I know with the certainty of all the experts I've spoken about, it's cheaper to get our act together than it is to not get our act together on climate change.
Okay, then tell me the cost versus
Orders
the
of magnitude.
cost that if we don't do it.
I think it's orders of magnitude different. If we
I
don't
know
get our
that,
act
but
together,
you-
it's
you
10 or
don't
100.
you don't have a cost. You want us to get there, but you can't tell the American taxpayer how much it's going to cost. Is that your testimony?
It's going to save us money, and there's a lot of jobs.
Well, how do
a
we
lot of
know if you
American
don't know how much it's
manufacturing.
going to cost?
I'd be happy to pull up the latest numbers that I've seen.
How about
Compare
$50
notes.
trillion? Is that right?
It's going to cost trillions of dollars. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. If we spend trillions of dollars and we achieve, some of your colleagues estimate 50 trillion, and it disappoints me that you're not willing to give the estimates. I hope you're not telling me you have no idea how much it's going to cost.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're watching a clip that genuinely left me speechless the first time I saw it. Senator John Kennedy is grilling the Deputy Secretary of Energy in one of the most uncomfortable yet necessary exchanges I've ever seen in a congressional hearing. I want to be upfront with you. I came in with an open mind, but by the end I was firmly in Senator Kennedy's corner, and I'll tell you exactly why. Before we get into the full reaction, watch this clip carefully. Don't just listen to Senator Kennedy. Listen to the answers, or more accurately, the lack of answers. Because that right there is the whole story. If accountability and real conversations about where your tax dollars are going is your thing, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's get into it.
Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here. I want to tap your expertise for a moment. Give me your best estimate, just an estimate I know, of how soon you think the United States of America will be carbon neutral.
So I think, according to the climate scientists around the world, and certainly the cutting-edge scientists that we need to rely on here in the U.S., we've got to get carbon neutral by 2050, and I'm very comfortable with that target, and I think that's the appropriate target.
By 2050.
Which is only 27 years. That is not a long time away.
And how much will that cost?
So the cost that I focus on even more is all the costs
No,
that
the
are going
total
to happen
cost.
if we don't get our
How
act
much will it
together.
cost to get us carbon neutral?
It's going to cost trillions of dollars, and it'll cost tens of trillions of dollars if we don't get our act together.
How many trillions?
I don't have the estimate or the numbers in front of me. I've seen a variety of different estimates, but it's a large amount. Fundamentally transforming our energy
Tell me
economy
the
is a
estimates.
big deal.
Tell me the estimates that you've seen.
I don't have those numbers right on hand.
So you're advocating that we become carbon neutral, but you don't know how much it's going to cost.
So there's an awful lot of estimates out there. It
Yeah,
depends
but
on technology
you're the
improvement and other
deputy
kinds of
secretary.
things.
You're the expert.
I
Give
know,
me an
I know
estimate
with
of how much
certain-
it's going to cost.
I know with the certainty of all the experts I've spoken about, it's cheaper to get our act together than it is to not get our act together on climate change.
Okay, then tell me the cost versus
Orders of
the
magnitude.
cost that if we don't do it.
I think it's orders of magnitude different. If we
I
don't
know
get our
that,
act
but
together,
you-
it's
you
10 or
don't
100.
have a cost. You want us to get there, but you can't tell the American taxpayer how much it's going to cost. Is that your testimony?
It's going to save us money, and there's a lot of jobs.
Well, how do we
a lot of
know if you
American
don't know how much it's
manufacturing.
going to cost?
I'd be happy to pull up the latest numbers that I've seen.
How about
Compare
$50
notes.
trillion? Is that right?
It's going to cost trillions of dollars. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. If we spend trillions of dollars and we achieve, some of your colleagues estimate 50 trillion, and it disappoints me that you're not willing to give the estimates. I hope you're not telling me you have no idea how much it's going to cost. That creates a whole new host of problems. But if it costs $50 trillion, as some of your colleagues have testified, to become carbon neutral by 2050, and I'm all for carbon neutrality, by the way, how much is that going to lower world temperatures? Or how much is that going to reduce the increase in world temperatures?
So every country around the world needs to get its act together. Our emissions are about 13% of global emissions.
Yeah, but if
right
you could
now.
answer my question, if we spend $50 trillion to become carbon neutral in the United States of America by 2050, you're the Deputy Secretary of Energy, Give me your estimate of how much that is going to reduce world temperatures.
So first of all, it's a net cost. It's what benefits we're having from getting our act together and reducing all of those climate benefits. We're seeing
Let me ask again,
hundreds of
maybe
billions
I'm
of dollars
being,
right now.
maybe I'm not being clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem, so we need to reduce our emissions, and we need to do everything we can.
How much, if we do our
influence other
part, is it
countries.
going to reduce
So
world temperatures?
we're 13% of global emissions.
You don't
right
know,
now.
do you? You don't know, do you?
You can do the math. We need to.
You don't know, do you, Mr. Secretary?
So we're 13% of
If
global
you know,
emissions.
why won't
If
you
we
tell
went-
me?
If we went to zero, that would be 13%.
You
of
don't
the
know,
solution.
do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion, and you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures. Now, I'm all for carbon neutrality, but you're the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Energy, and you're advocating we spend trillions of dollars to seek carbon neutrality, and you can't, and this isn't your money or my money, it's taxpayer money, and you can't tell me how much it's going to lower world temperatures? Or you won't tell me? You know, but you won't?
In my heart of hearts, there is no way the world gets its act together on climate change unless the U.S. leads.
Tell me how much it's
The
going
US
to
needs to
reduce.
lead.
You can't tell me. Either that or you won't.
We're
And
13%,
that's
15%
that
roughly
the
of
President
global
of the
emissions.
United States needs. I've still got a few seconds. I got 22 seconds. I'm going to use them a different way. Mr. Secretary, shame on you for not answering my questions. Madam Administrator, how are we going to get plutonium pit production back on track?
Well, thanks, Senator Kennedy. We are doing, the most important thing we have to do to get pit production back on track is get craft workers in the facilities, finish our designs, get craft workers in the facilities, and that is happening. And so we have got great confidence between changes we're making in our processes, getting people on board, doing equipment pre-buys, particularly for glove boxes, which are limited manufacturers in the United States, that we will be able to make pits. We're going to be late. We're trying to catch up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Senator Heinrich.
Secretary Turk, let me give this a try. What's the difference between living in a world with 1 degree?
All right, we're back. Watching that in full only made my opinion stronger. Senator Kennedy was not being cruel. Senator Kennedy was asking the most basic question any responsible lawmaker should ask. If we're spending trillions of dollars of taxpayer money, what exactly are we getting for it? That's not unreasonable. That's what any sensible person asks before spending money, let alone $50 trillion. And the Deputy Secretary of Energy, whose entire job is to be the expert in the room, could not answer it. The Deputy Secretary didn't say, Senator, that's a complex calculation and here's why. There was no I'll have that figure to you by end of week. Just dodging, deflecting, and pivoting to talking points about leadership and benefits, without ever putting a number on the table. And Senator Kennedy caught it every single time. That's what impressed me most. Every time the conversation started to drift, Senator Kennedy pulled it straight back. How much will it cost? How much will temperatures go down? Simple, direct, relentless. The moment that really got me is when Senator Kennedy pointed out that the U.S. accounts for roughly 13% of global emissions. Which means even if America spent $50 trillion and achieved perfect carbon neutrality by 2050, we'd be eliminating 13% of global emissions, assuming every other country does nothing different. Senator Kennedy asked how much that actually moves the temperature needle. The Deputy Secretary had no answer. And that silence tells you everything. If the numbers were on your side, you'd say them loudly and proudly. The fact that the Deputy Secretary couldn't or wouldn't say them suggests those numbers are either unknown or not particularly encouraging. To be clear, I'm not saying climate change isn't real. I'm not saying we shouldn't care about emissions. What I'm saying is that policy requires accountability. And when a senior official at the Department of Energy can't tell the American people what they are buying with their money, that's a serious problem regardless of where you sit politically. Senator Kennedy said something near the end that I think gets overlooked. This isn't your money. It's taxpayer money. That line landed for me. This isn't abstract government spending. This is money from working people across the country who deserve to know what results they are paying for. The Deputy Secretary's conviction seemed genuine. You could tell this is someone who deeply believes in the cause. But belief is not a budget. Good intentions are not a substitute for answering a straight question in front of the United States Senate. Senator Kennedy publicly shamed the Deputy Secretary for not answering, and honestly I think that was warranted. Not out of cruelty, but because accountability has to mean something. If officials can advocate for multi-trillion-dollar policies and walk away without ever providing a number, what is congressional oversight even for? Senator Kennedy didn't need a closing statement. The silence from the other side said it all. So that's my take. Senator Kennedy was right to push and right to be frustrated. The American public deserves better answers than what was given in that room. Do you think the Deputy Secretary should have had those numbers ready? Did Senator Kennedy go too far or not far enough? Drop it in the comments below. I read every one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.